tonight we're gonna have a conversation about some stuff, okay? Yeah. I'm gonna do it kind of funnily, if you will it. Get yourself down here. Come on. No. Get down. Walk. I'd have a jumper parade. No, we're not about to lose no balance tonight. Lost your mind. Daddy business. Had to take care of it. Slow down. So, yeah, the discussion tonight is recognizing the ancient customs, if you will. We're going to be talking about false prophets and teachings. Hey. And we're going to be talking also about devices, right? Devices. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. I want to have some fun. I hope that, people can leave some comments. But first of all, I just want to say, I plead the blood of Jesus. And our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. Come on, Maya. So, I noticed there's an increasing talk on the internet, especially dealing with crystals and stones and metals and rocks and stuff, right? And they having the power to heal and ward away danger and wicked spirits and, bring in wealth and crap like that. First of all, listen to how that sounds. Like this. I'm very sorry, but that stuff is disgusting. Yeah, so, Lord help. Witchcraft, spiritism, mysticism. The ancient Egyptians, Mayans, and the Romans took from them, the Greeks took from them, customs and traditions and ceremonies and crap like that. Mafia 1918, what's up? Hold up, gotta wave. When people wave, you gotta wave back. It's only polite. Y'all please forgive me if I start coughing a little bit, stuff like that. I'm coming through some stuff. And my chest been hurting a little bit too, so I'm trying to take my breathing a little slow. But yeah, ambulance and all stuff like that. So there's ancient relics and occult, religious, ceremonial traditions and stuff that goes on, right? For some, it may be a cross, which is idolized nowadays, which is actually a tool and it was a murder weapon against our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. What's up? So nowadays when people wear it, it's supposed to be a reminder of what Jesus did on the cross, but the most wicked of people wear these things as a mockery against the Most High God, Jesus Christ. So, it's a mockery. You got people in Hollywood and crap like that, and just people that's not even Hollywood. They just mock God and you wear a cross. You know what I'm saying? When Jesus said pick up your cross, he didn't mean wear a cross. You can wear it if you want to. I mean, it's up to you. But I hope you understand where it came from. Picking up the cross literally means like picking up the truth. Choose to follow the truth and cast down the lie. Meaning abandon the lies, abandon your own ways. You die to yourself. You hold the burdens or the things that God has put on your heart and entrusted to you to do. You know, you carry your cross. It's your burden to bear. So when he says, bear one another burdens, when I forget exactly who it was at the moment that helped Jesus carry his cross at one point in time. You know, what they showed in the movies. But bearing one another's burdens, right? Prime example. One second. But yeah. Some people got dream catchers. You know, the old Native Americans and, you know, different types of people say that dream catchers keeps away old spirits and stuff like that, or wicked spirits, and, you know, catches your dreams and stuff. But in all reality, it looks like a web, right? And there's beads on some of them and feathers on some of them, different color patterns or different, you know, types of different parts of stuff, beads or different stuff, you know, put placed in certain areas. That's an old tool for witchcraft and occult, and that is an ancient practice. Like, this stuff is not new, but I want to teach y'all to recognize symbology, understand symbology, and recognize the devices of Satan. I believe it was Paul at one time in the word it is written. He said, my brethren, I would not have you ignorant of these things, right? And in order to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, you have to understand what's going on. You have to understand how to recognize. We have to understand what to run away from or get away from quickly. It doesn't matter who is around it, who has it. If they're not trying to understand, get away from them too. Don't fear these things, because these things cannot hurt you. You know, but it is an influence, a power of influence, spiritual influence that is behind these things. I don't know if anybody's ever heard about witches. Witches exist. It's written in the Bible. Wizards and magicians, they exist. It's written in the Bible. Daniel was one of the wise men, one of the wisest men at that time. They called him a magi, or magi, some would say, which is a term for a magician. The astrologers were known as sorcerers. Isaiah, they were known as sorcerers. There's scriptures in the Word that also talks about as stargazers and monthly prognosticators. I believe it's in the book of Ezekiel. Even the very zodiac calendar that we're taught to go by, which is in an unpure form, the way it's taught, a Western society, Western culture, or Egyptian mixed with Mayan, mixed with, it's pagan, mixed with Roman and Greek. It's actually a calendar, and it's actually a map as well. It's a calendar, a prophetic calendar, and a prophetic map of the regions of heaven and of the earth and the citizenships and times and all that type of stuff. So that's what it is. And it's also a clock, because you got times. So there's a season for everything, there's a reason for everything, there's a time for everything, there's a place for everything, right? So that's what the stars are for. And reading the stars, or, you know, looking at the heavenly luminaries, was an ancient custom even among Hebrews, black people. Follow me, and I hope somebody really catches this. But do your research and study. It also goes into the Enochian calendar as well. But I want to tell people about the zodiac calendar, which actually stands for the zoo, or the zoology, right? Of different nations, tribes, tongues, and parts of creation upon the earth and in the heaven. As above, so below. Some would say, whatsoever you loose on heaven, or loose in heaven, shall be, or loose on earth, shall be loose in heaven. Whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Don't let go of it again. Look at me. Don't let go of it again. So, yeah. So, reflections reflect. Whatever's in the reflection, or whatever the light touches, it's going to reflect it. So, that being said, a lot of people, we have been taught to name ourselves after these different different parts of the zoology, or the zodiac calendar, right? And what most people don't understand It's an ancient pagan thing, and those are actually what you call yourself after is actually a demon that you don't even know. You may not even be aware of this, but these people who have known these things since ancient times, all the way till now, they understand. And you're calling yourself after something that you're choosing to follow, and you don't even know subliminally that you're following it, and you're worshiping it. Anybody ever notice how you got a lot of people that, oh, I'm a Gemini, or I'm a Cancer, or this, that, and the other. We don't get along with Tauruses and that. And it teaches hatred. It teaches hatred. You got to recognize the characteristics of influence that's in that. It's a spirit. Oh, well, we can't do like this. Like Gemini's two-faced and this. Everybody has a potential to betray somebody. Everybody has emotions that flip inside out all the time, or every now and then. Everybody goes through anger spurts. Everybody has some level of intelligence that works better at times than others. Right? Everybody has a sex drive of some type. Everybody may not be as skilled, sexually as other people. My question is, why are we so much bent on trying to be that sexually active with somebody that God is not personally ordaining to be our husband or our wife? I talk about it because I've been there, done that. I don't do it no more. I seek after the woman that God has told me is for me. And that's all I want. That's all I care about. I don't care about how beautiful the next person is, what they got, what they don't got, what your name is, your body type. I got specific tastes, and my taste is for what thus says the Lord, what the Lord told me. Flat out. That's all I want. That's all I need. I know that it's more than enough. Period. So that's what I expect, and that's what will happen. Because the Lord, when He speaks, is final. Have you not seen a tree? Have you not seen the clouds? Have you not seen the stars and the moon? Have you not seen creation? That's reality. Truth will always remain. But going back into it, it's a place of, it could teach hatred, it could be judgmental or assumption, about a person. You don't even know the person. You don't even know anything really about their character. You just, I recognize this because the monthly prognosticators or monthly sorcerers tell us this about that, and it's going to happen like this. This might happen in your time, or that's sorcery. These are false prophets. You might be in a season where God is talking to you, but find me one place. This is for everybody who knows truth, who knows about the Bible. And if you really know the Bible, understand the Bible, you understand there's more that you have to study than just the Bible. The Bible is our history book for the people of God, but it's also the history book of the world and history itself, past, present, and future. So, parts that were taken out of the book was parts of Enoch. Enoch was talked about in the Bible. There's things, even when I read it, doesn't mean I just believe everything that I read, when I research stuff. Like, I'll research certain things like maybe 10, 12, as many times over as I have to, to get a better and a deeper understanding so I can help somebody in case I might have missed something. God tie the pieces together, boom, there you go. Cards. Cards was an ancient tradition, just like dominoes, were casting a lot, or they would say divination, right? Back in the ancient days, like they would throw bones and stuff like that, for seeking a sign from either God or familiar spirits. One way of casting a lot, I believe it was Elisha, when dealing with the quilt, or the rug or something like that, and the water. If there was water found on the quilt or the rug, it was a sign for him to go ahead and do something, and not to do something. If he dried, just the same. I don't want to mess the story up, so I'm just putting that analogy out there because it's in the Bible and it's written. Cards, or tarot cards. Tarot cards talking about, this in your future, this, blah, blah. They got all these pictures and crap like that. Those are witches. Those are what witches look like in the flesh, partly. Those are sorcerers. First of all, you ain't looking at no crystal ball and putting a bunch of cards in front of me with a bunch of creepy drawings on it and stuff. And then all of a sudden you can see it in my life and you can tell me which way my direction go. Don't speak that bull crap over me. Don't speak that witchery. You better turn that witchery. You better go right back where it came from in the name of Jesus. I plead the blood of Jesus. The devil is a liar. Those are psychic sleuths. They consult with familiar spirits. There's a specific number of verses and chapters in the Bible where it's written about consulting with spirit mediums, to consult the dead. Now Solomon, and Solomon's seal is actually that 8-pointed star, or 8-sided star that they call the Star of David, which is not the Star of David. That is the seal of Solomon. Solomon had a ring, but Solomon at one time acted as a wizard too. Get down. He actually summoned demons and commanded demons. And it is written in the Bible. It is written when you study your history. You know what I'm saying? I've looked in the book of Jared. I've read about a lot of that. I read a lot of the book of Jasher. I read out of the book of Jubilees. I read out of the book of Enoch. I read up on demonology. I studied almost pretty much everything you can possibly know about witches and sorcery and the different bloodlines and families on the earth throughout history. I've studied so much symbology. I'm still studying so much symbology. Learning multiple different languages at the same time. From the Greek, from the Latin, to the Hebrew. Stop! To the Aramaic. Get up. Come here. I told you not to let go of this. You think I'm playing, don't you? Hold it. Mercy. Greek, Latin, Hebrew, Aramaic, English, like even breaking down the English language, studying about letters and the numerical values, the Draconian code, demonic script, which is actually the English language. It has a lot to do with demonic script. We say one thing or say another thing and actually means something completely different in another language. It's the most confusing language in existence. So I study a lot of stuff, and I study to get understanding of what's around me, the things that are going on that I see and that I know are going on, and if I can help somebody see clearer, understand better, and walk, to understand how important it is and what it means to be saved, what it means to experience the grace and life, the love of God. Like, God has blessed us to be able to, we got trees, we got all types of different creeds of animals, after their own kind. We got all types of different plants. We got clouds, the beautiful sunrise, beautiful sunset. You got stars that move and according to however God chooses to move them in their timing, like everywhere across the sky. There's been blood moons, or heavens, excuse me. There's been blood moons. Like, it's been eclipses, solar and lunar eclipses. Like, we've been blessed with knowledge to build, to instruct. Like, look at the dimensions of how things are built, these measurements. Okay? It's like these things, this is knowledge, knowledge of good and evil. How are you going to use it? What it can be used for. Mankind has always had contact with God and angels. And angels that became wicked that are now demons because they rebelled against the Most High and they taught mankind the secrets of the heavens. How else can a man sit there and learn how to build a nuclear bomb, right? Or a machine called CERN? Or just some of this stuff, like, come on now. It had to come from somewhere. And if it's a likeness here, then there's a reflection somewhere else of the same likeness, right? For example, God created man in his own image, right? God created them, or man and woman, in his own image, right? In his own image created he them. That does not mean that man and woman are God, but God can become man. Jesus Christ. But that's part of how that stuff is used. Then you got, what other ones? Let's deal with the eye, right? The one eye that some people, you see them doing like that, right? That one eye, they say, is supposed to represent the all-seeing eye. The eye of Ra, which is a demon from the underworld in Egyptian, they say mythology, but it's actually, mythology is not something that's actually just made up. Like, this is something that people won't believe, and it's written in hieroglyphs in every culture in existence. It always has been. Giant stones, giant megaliths and monoliths. Like, it's been all kinds of stuff. They found fossils and stuff like that. The dinosaur ideology or idea that they had was not what it actually is taught. You know, if angels had sex with women and bore giants, right? The women got pregnant and giants were born. You know, look at people that got 6 fingers and 6 toes. People, the normal average height of a man, they say, is 5'6". You got people who's 7 feet tall. People who's dang near 8 feet tall. You got pictures throughout history of people who was literally 8 feet, almost 9 feet tall. What is his name? Manute Bol. He was like super tall. Shaq wears a size freaking 23 shoe. That's not normal. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta bend your head down to fit through a, let's say, 6.5 foot tall door, and you 7'5" or 7'7", Yao Ming type stuff, you have giantism in your blood. Your bloodline came from giants, from the bloodline of the Nephilim, which are the children of the angels. They call them star children, right? Or the crystal children, or they call them the shadow people, or the shadow children, who are like the witches and stuff like that. Pharmakia. If you look up the word pharmaceuticals or pharmacy or pharmakai, pharmakan, the definition in the Greek language, it is sorcery, it is magic, it is witchcraft. Now, if angels taught women the cutting of roots and plants, right? You got a lot of herbalists. What's the etymology? Economic genealogies and the chemistries behind these things of how they work, right? The influences or the chemical reactions, right? The medulla oblongata, which is in the center. The center is like the center of your brain is cut in half, but it's like underneath, like in the middle underneath, right? Then you got the dopamine, which is a natural chemical that man is created with. It's a chemical balance. Whenever you're chemically imbalanced, it means the chemicals are off. They've either become mixed and they're unstable, or you don't have enough, which comes also from sleep problems. It comes from, you can have a lot of extra energy or not have too much energy, lethargic, because your dopamine is off. It also can deal with your pH balance, like, chemistry and the chemical wiring that we have naturally in us. If there's something that's if I'm taking an antipsychotic and I'm not psychotic, what you think is going to happen? The chemicals, the synthetic or the chemicals that are mixed with all kinds of other stuff, from that mixing with the natural chemical that I'm created with, which is the dopamine, right? The reactions or the reactors and stuff like that. So the central nervous system will begin to be triggered. It's like putting a taser to somebody. It's a shock that's being taken place, but it's a neural shock. And because the DNA and the chemistry is being changed, it's being altered. Simply put, GMO, genetically modified organism. Same purpose behind those. But the word for pharmakon and pharmaceuticals is witchcraft. This is an ancient practice. The Egyptians practiced it. The Mayans practiced it. Every culture, even Hebrews practiced it. And that's why I'm going to say the majority of the world, I'm going to say especially Colorado, is on freaking drugs. It's also what you find in the Bible as the spirit of stupor. You are being deceived. You are in a great delusion. You cannot understand. You're sleeping. And you're like in delusional la la land, right? It's a fantasy. It is how I want it to be. That's part of that. But look at a person who's been taking pills all their life or most of their life. They was fine at one time, then they started taking pills. They started slowing down in their speech and their actions. They started looking funny, started tripping over themselves. Some people get tremors, constantly shaking. Some people start drooling, without even being aware of it. Some people start bleeding. and stuff. I had tremors. I had started bleeding from the inside out. That's internal bleeding. It means it's killing me. So it's something that was not supposed to be in me. And if anybody who calls himself a Bible scholar or a preacher or a pastor, I question if you're not teaching this and breaking this stuff down. The Bible says, and it's written, study to show yourself approved, right? A workman worthy of his hire, right? If you're going to work for God, you're going to have to study so you can teach people the depth of why the mercy of God and the grace of God is so good. Like, what are we being saved from? It's not just sin. If you're going to talk about sin, we have to recognize what sin is and how many ways sin can go. It's not just having sex out of marriage. That's a sin. That's adultery or sexual immorality, because you're not married to that person. If this is a person that God told you is your husband or your wife, you have to go before God with that woman and with that man, and you have to pray. If you have to fast, pray and fast with that man or with that woman. If somebody keep telling me, God said you're my wife, God said you're my wife, God said you're my wife, or somebody keep telling a woman, God said you're my husband, God said you're my, or a woman keep telling the man, God said you're my husband, you're my husband, you're my husband. What you should do is wisdom would say, get on your face if you got to. But go pray. Pray and pray and pray and pray until God gives you an answer. Because God will not lie to you. God will show you, let there be light. He will reveal the truth. And he will. You know, because you have to recognize, like, some people just look at you for your beauty. Some people look at your heart just like God does. And they recognize the character of your heart. If a person is going to build with you, they're going to build with you the way they're gonna speak with us, says the Lord. They're gonna literally submit to God, and they're gonna resist every other thought and every other teaching and every other ideal of actions and stuff like that. Not saying nobody's gonna fall into sin. Like, we're gonna go through stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're not always gonna make the mark. But the point is, in seeking truth, you're gonna do the very best you can to lead a person the right way. And it's going to add up. That's the fruit. When you keep seeing it this way, like, dang, that's true. I found out that's true. And this person's not trying to lead me wrong. There's something that God is touching in your heart right there. He's trying to connect with you and let you know, like, look, pay attention. I'm showing you something. You asking me these questions. You're asking me for this sign. You're asking me for that sign. You're asking me to do this. You're asking me to do that. Give me this, give me that. And I'm giving it to you. So you have to take the time to hush. Get somewhere silent. If you got to walk away from everybody for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Go, because you can hear God clearer. And I'm telling you this, go, because the federal government not going to tell you this stuff. The majority of the so-called church, they're not going to tell you guys this stuff. They're not going to preach. They're not going to teach. How can they hear unless the preacher be sent? Right? How can they hear unless they have a preacher? If there's no preacher, how can you learn? A preacher is supposed to be a teacher in righteousness. It's like a teacher in a class of students. You know what I'm saying? You're becoming a disciple, a disciplined student, meaning your heart. Your emotions are in your heart. They come from your heart. Your thoughts come from your heart. Your desires come from your heart. There's a feeling attached to it. It's got nothing to do with up here. This is your nervous system, your nerves, right? Your nerves, where the dopamine and all that stuff is. What's the neurology and stuff like that. If you ever go to a neurologist, they're always going to have a picture of the brain. All your nerves are connected to your brain. They say when you're... Isaiah, stop! Mercy, my son going too far with my other son. Your nerves, right? They're all attached to your, I want to say your medulla oblongata in your central nervous system. That's in both. I think it's like back here, but both your right hemisphere and left hemisphere of your brain all has nerves going through them. That's where you get if your heart's not beating, you're dead. Okay. But your nerves are attached into your brain. That's why all your wiring goes all the way up to your brain. When they cut that big old cord or whatever, you know what I'm saying, up towards your brain, it's like it's a tendon. It's a shock, right? Say if you get hit in the head, really hard, you're going to feel a numbness or a shock throughout your whole body. If I get hit in my chest, I'm not necessarily going to feel a shock going through my whole body or a numbness going through my whole body. But if somebody punches me in my head hard enough, I'm going, why did you step in the ants? That's what you get. That's why I told you not to do that. You keep being disobedient. You got to learn somehow. Maybe if they bite you a little bit, you'll leave them alone. Yeah. So the shocking Isaiah. Didn't I say stop? Let me have to tell you again. Leave him alone. But yeah, that's a point proven. You get punched in your head or hit in your head hard enough, the rest of your body going numb. All your nerves is attached there. All your nerves got hit at one time. When you have a headache, that's your nerves that are being pinched really, really, really hard. And you can feel it where you can feel your heartbeat. Your nerves are also attached to your heart. That's why you got veins, the wiring, right? Like machines. So, in that being said, yeah, I mean, look up neurology, right? Look it up. Study for yourself. Study the human body, or the temple, because it's both. What else? Oh yeah, symbols and stuff. Yeah, going back to the Eye of Ra. Thank you, Lord. The Eye of Ra, right? The pyramid. Pyramids are they're actually used as energy. They say energy harnessing. They're actually machines. One of the first ideal looks of a machine as a what they call it, triangle shape. It's not the word I'm looking for, but they also were built as conductors. Some of them, had gold built into them or on them, like the inside of them. They were also used as tombs for old pharaohs and stuff, right? The mummification process, or the harvesting process, if you will, or the burial process. All three of those at the same time, just like you got morgues. In the morgues, they can dissect your body, just like they so-called do the aliens, which are nothing but angels and demons and even people, because you're foreigners. That word means foreigner, right? An illegal alien. Yeah, aliens exist. Illegal aliens. You're here on foreign property. This is not your land. The children of Israel. That's why I wear this, because this is my tribe. The tribe that I'm born into and that I'm actually from by blood and by spirit. By nationality is Hebrew, Israel. That's the people that come from, the children of Israel. And my tribe, out of the children of Israel, there's 12 tribes. My tribe is the tribe of Judah, or Ayuda, or Judah. Okay? I can trace my bloodline all the way back to Enoch. Oh, Jesus. What else? Oh, yeah, okay. So even in Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Eye of Ra, which is, a pagan god of the underworld. Then you got like the Sphinx, which is a lion's body and a woman's head, or pharaoh, something like that. So going back to the dinosaurs, angels also had sex with the beasts of the earth and of the seas and stuff. Read it out the book of Enoch. That's one of the reasons why in the times of Noah, the earth was destroyed. Recognizing sins of all types of stuff. Witchcraft is sin. Flat out. Linwood, what's going on? I'm not going to say the other word because that's not what you are. You're not a female pregnant dog. Okay? But hello, how you doing? Welcome to this. I love you. God bless you too. Everybody who come on here. I love my people, so I got to speak truth for the way it is, That's why I've been blessed with the ability to obtain and harness the amounts of knowledge that I've been blessed with. And all glory to God. I had to suffer a lot for it. A lot of suffering comes with more knowledge and more wisdom, but it's not my own. So glory to Jesus. But we're talking about symbolism. We're talking about recognizing devices of ancient cultures. If you see the root of things, you will never be deceived again unless you allow yourself to be deceived, or unless you want to. I aim to educate and cry out to my people because this is my calling. Black people especially. But for people who love God and who want to follow God and want to learn how and understand what salvation means, understand what it means to be blessed, what it means to be saved, you know what I'm saying? It's not this ideal that they got in these synagogues where it's like, oh yeah, I go in there, I clap my hands, scream hallelujah, roll around, have a fit and stuff like that, just listen to a preacher. That's not what it means to be saved. That's not what it means. That's a sacrifice of thanksgiving, which is a requirement from the Lord. But if you don't share a testimony, get your butt back here, girl. Don't let me ever see you following another man. Get over here. I'm your daddy for one. For two, you don't follow after no other man, period. You a young lady, you a princess, and you my daughter. I won't have it, period. That's not okay. Ever. Get over here. There's too much crazy crap going on here, period. It's not happening. If you don't see me, you don't go nowhere. That go for you too, Isaiah. And you too, Jeremiah. Sorry, I gotta do daddy business again. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Because it's real. It's crazy out here. And if we teach our children these things, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get old, they will not depart from it. This is why I talk about this, because a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our elders know stuff about this stuff, and they didn't change. Some of them walked with God at a point in time, and they didn't change. They didn't teach us what we needed to know. So now it's up to a generation to teach the elder generation, as well as our generation, and the generation that's younger than us. So we got to teach literally like 3 to 4 generations at a time from what we were supposed to be taught, that they didn't teach us. It was important. God told them to teach us this, and those who didn't, they failed to do it. But thank God for those who did, whether strangers, whether however he did it, there's a way that some of us obtained what we needed to know. You know what I'm saying? Because the generations, it's written, God, he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If we're destroyed for lack of knowledge, shouldn't we be learning stuff that's important? Shouldn't we be gaining knowledge if knowledge would increase in these days? There's things that we need to know. The federal government won't tell you that they're killing your people. They're committing mass genocide. Rothschild won't tell you that they own the Federal Reserve and majority of the freaking entertainment business. Rothschild not going to tell you that the whole plan is to kill you. You want to understand what climate control is, or what they call it? With the atmosphere stuff. They global warming and crap like that. No, climate control is when you kill off enough people to make room for yourself, or to make room for your own plans. You don't have to believe me. Look at the proof of history. How many people die in a hospital? How many people go into the hospital sick, right? Come out the hospital healed. And then how many people go into the hospital sick and come out the hospital still sick and then die? Then how many people go in the hospital healed, come out healed, and stay healed? We're not statistics. But if you look at the statistics, you look at the proofs, you look at reality, we begin to see this stuff for what it really is. You know what I'm saying? You can't fool me unless I want to be fooled. Blood donating, organ donating, that's an ancient practice. All the way back from the Egyptians to the Mayans to Africans, Hebrews, from Greeks to Romans, like cultural theft, if you will, or tribal theft. Everybody learned a little bit of something, took a little bit of something from somebody else. Piracy started like that. That's where people got the booty, right? They got the booty. Now, I know I would hope somebody would laugh at this, because I kind of want you to laugh at this, because I want to educate myself and my people, because I love y'all. I can't say I love y'all and I lead you in the wrong way. That's not love. I'm not a pastor that's in these churches that, I love God, but give me your money, because you rob God through tithe and offerings. That's not the tithe, bro. Read the Bible for what it says is what it is. Like, read it for what it says. It tells you, read it one time, it's going to explain it 2 or 3 other times afterward exactly what it means. Right there. You don't have to have an interpreter. It interprets. It's the living word of God. There's no other book in history. Not the Quran, not the Egyptian Book of the Dead, not the Qumran scripts, not the Dead Sea Scrolls, not what else? The Bible of Necromancy, or Necronomicon. None of that crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the reality right here. Every seed, God created every tree, right? And every herb and everything, right? And the seed is within itself. So when you look at grass and stuff, right? Don't these things grow every year, right? You know what these little things are? Right? Oh, hold on. These little things right there, those are seeds. The seed is within itself. Flat out. Just that simple. It's not hard. We don't need no freaking eschatology, freaking philosopher, freaking Plato and Aristotle and freaking Darwin and freaking Einstein and who else? Freaking Aleister Crowley, freaking Adam Weishaupt and crap like that to show us that's the reality of that scripture right there. The seed is within itself. It's within itself. When you have a baby, you have sex, right? You make love, or you're joined to the woman that you have sex with, right? The woman is joined to the man that she has sex with. Oh, you got ants on you too? Why would you sit there and keep getting in it? Y'all gonna listen to me. I'm trying to tell you. I've been there before. Now you got ants all on you. Hold on, y'all. I tried to tell you, man. I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't want to listen. You're gonna have to learn the hard way. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all better start listening and being obedient. Get out the pile, Maya. Why you sitting in a pile of red ants? What's wrong with you? You want to get bit up too? Yeah, just straight got bit up by a whole bunch of red ants. Thinking you should have listened, sir. You think I'll be making this stuff up? I've been bit by red ants before. I used to step in the piles. I used to put my hands in the piles. I used to light them on fire too. Yeah, but anyway, you know, there's a lot of stuff in this world that people don't know is here. You know, they were never taught, for one. And for two, you know, people say, oh, that's not true. That's fake. That's fake. Okay, if it's fake, prove it. If it's true, prove it. I prove so many facts by the grace of God within a short period of time. You're going to have to go back and study all the stuff I'm talking about so you can see the proof for yourself. I'm not asking nobody to believe me. Believe him. The one who created all of it. He is a real being, a real person, a real being. He created all things. You know, everybody's not going to accept that because everybody wants an excuse not to take responsibility. I know, I've been there. So I can say it. I can be truthful. You know, I've been there. There's been times I ain't want to take no responsibility. Why? When it's easier to blame somebody else. Right? That's the easy part. It's our scapegoat, if you will. That's what we use. We can't sit here. I mean, we can sit here and lie if we wanted to, but you know, it's not gonna do too much good. But household relics and stuff. If you see, I'm going back to the cards and bones and crap like that. You know, some people they call dominoes bones. There's nothing wrong with playing the game, but understand the game that you're playing, right? Yeah, understand the game that you're playing if you're going to play these games. An ancient form of tarot card is the regular playing cards. Look at tarot cards. Look at playing cards. Look at the pictures. Look at the numbers, right? These people were supposed to be telling people's futures and prophesying, right? Prophets are real, but there's false prophets too, which work for the devil, Baal. That's the same thing that the Rothschild worship, Baal. Vampires exist, but they're not these long-toothed, freaking burst up in flame type creatures. You know what I'm saying, when they see sunlight or get up in the light and stuff. It's not Blade Trinity crap. Vampires. There are people that do drink blood. It's called blood sacrifices. This has been since the beginning of time. Angels did blood sacrifices. All the people that follow God at one point in time in the Old Testament, there was blood sacrifices. Through animals that were being killed, their blood, was like blood is the sign of life. It was an atonement, right? It's like at one time it was used as a sin offering, right? For the sins of the people to be forgiven, for God to give grace. But boy, you got them all in your diaper and stuff. What is wrong with you? You literally got ants in your pants. I hope you learn your lesson from this. Real talk. I really hope you listen and choose to be obedient after this, for real. Boy, you got ate up. Man. Let me see you in no more ant piles, boy. Y'all done lost your mind. Where was I at? Bones and stuff like that. Tarot cards, which is the old way, an old custom of divination. Joseph in the Bible had did divination. Abraham's father did divination. Elisha had did divination. There's two types of divination. You know, there's one that is bad, and there's one that is clean. I better stay out of this dang dirt. That's what I keep telling y'all, man. Now you getting freaking swarmed by ants. The ants wasn't playing with you. They said stay out of our home. You straight got jumps. Mercy. You got jumped by some blood ants. They came in deep too. So yeah, anyway, going back to what I was talking about. Forms of divination. Okay? Going back to the hospitals. A lot of people get shots and stuff like that. There's nowhere in the Bible where God told you to put shots and poisons in your body. That stuff is giving you the sicknesses. Maya, get over here. Right here. Oh, you gonna get your butt whooped regardless, because I'm tired of talking to you. God never told anyone, you'll never find it in the Bible, where he told you to put shots. You know what I'm saying? Get shots and crap like that. Mankind taught you that. And, you know, people like, oh yeah, get the flu shot, this, that, and the other. You know, it's got mercury in it. Mercury is a poison. It will kill you. Don't you know that there's a lot of mercury in nuclear bombs? Oh yeah, it's a poison. Also, it's formaldehyde, which is a preservation for a dead body or embalmed fluid. And the ancient Egyptians knew how to use this stuff, you know, preservation of mummification and stuff like that. But they also took freaking hooks and crap and pulled out the brains and the innards of people, you know, their noses and crap like that, and cut open their bodies like an autopsy or surgery, and took out their organs and preserved them. It's like organ donating and stuff like that. It's the same ancient practices. They understood chemistry of the body. Sacred geometry is an esoteric teaching that it comes from the Egyptian roots, and all the way back to the angels that taught mankind, or mankind, the different practices that they taught, like how to make weapons of war, how to mine, how to forge weapons through fire, how the cutting of roots and plants, and making of bracelets and charms, and the decorating of the faces, you know, makeup and crap like that, you know, which is also an ancient Egyptian and Roman and Greek tradition, and even the Mayans and stuff like that, you know, because it's supposed to amplify your beauty, if you will, you know, make you look more than what you are, you know, for real. Like it's like a mask, it's an additive. There's nothing wrong with wearing, I would think there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, but it's your motives behind wearing it. You know, a lot of people like to get attention. They do it because they want to be noticed. They want somebody to say something. You know, they want somebody to be attracted to them, or they want somebody to approach them. But not everybody's like that either. You know, some people just wear it because they just like to wear it. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and criticize and look down on people for stuff. You know, but just understanding the differences between it, but and where it came from. Jezebel used to wear makeup, and she used it as a way to entice or to seduce her victims. You know what I'm saying? The men. You know, if you look at it, a lot of men, when they see a woman dressed up in all types of makeup and stuff, looking on like she don't even look like herself. She look like a whole different person. Dang, that's a bad, blah, 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 blah. That's a bad, blah, blah, blah. She look good and she fine. You know what I'm saying? And you looking at the mask, and you're not truly looking at her.